Hi friends, Mr. Karwaki here. It's Tuesday, November 10th. Welcome to Art. Can you hear that? Do you know what song that is? That's the graduation song. Why am I playing it? Because you have all been doing such an amazing job with our lines the last couple of weeks that we are graduating away from lines. We've learned them. You guys did fantastic. I saw all your artwork and we're ready to move on. So pat yourself on the back, maybe do a little dance. There we go. All right. Okay, so I'm very proud of everybody for how well we have done on our lines this year. And we're ready to move on. And we're going to move on to a new topic that I think you're going to love. We're not going to never use lines again, but we're going to start introducing some new things now. All right, and I think this week is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a little different than some of our other weeks. All right, so you're going to need some different materials this week, but it should be things you all have around the house, hopefully. All right, so what you're going to need this week is some paper towel. And I'll show you that in a minute. And if you don't have paper towel, you can use a napkin, or if you don't have any of those, even if you have a coffee filter, that will work, all right? And then you're gonna need markers and some water, okay? And there's a few other things that you'll need, and I'll show you what those are in a minute, but I think this week is gonna be a lot of fun, all right? So try to scrounge up your materials, and let's get started. All right, friends, so like I said, we're gonna do something a little bit different than we normally do. We're gonna try to have a lot of fun today. So I said the first thing you're gonna need are a set of markers, and get your markers out. And then what you wanna do is you wanna take any of your really dark colors, like your brown, your gray, and your black, and you wanna put those off to the side. We're not gonna use those today. We wanna stick with the brighter colors, all right? And then I said you can use either a paper towel, a sheet of paper towel, or a napkin, okay? Now I'm gonna do mine on a napkin, okay? But if you have paper towel at home, what you're gonna wanna do, if this is a piece of paper towel, we want to kind of fold it over 2 times. So we wanna fold it in half one time, and then fold it in half another time, right? So we kind of end up like with a square, okay? So again, if I have a paper towel, if I have a sheet of paper towel, I wanna fold it in half one time, and I want to fold it in half another time because we want layers, okay? And if you don't have either of these, like I said, you can definitely use a coffee filter at home if you have it, all right? And with a coffee filter, you might want to fold it over, they're not very large, so you might want to fold it over just like one time. It'll kind of look like a taco shell, but it will still work, okay? But I'm gonna use a napkin, like I said, okay? The other thing you're gonna need is some water, like a cup of water. And then we are going to want to put some water on our napkins and our paper towel later. So there's a couple different ways you can do that. All right. If you have any type of straw at home, that's probably the best way. Or if you have like an eyedropper, or if you know if a grown-up at home has an eyedropper. If you don't have any of those, a regular paintbrush will work. And if you don't have anything else, right, we'll use the eraser end of a pencil. And I'll show you what I mean in a little bit, okay? So we are gonna move on to shapes now in art. We've been spending a lot of time online, and we're gonna move on to shapes. And I know you've been studying shapes in kindergarten. You probably know a whole bunch of shapes, so this is just gonna be some extra practice. So on our paper towel or our napkin, we are gonna take and we're gonna draw some shapes, different colors, right? So first shape that comes to my mind is a circle. So I'm gonna draw a nice circle, and then I'm gonna fill it in. Now we're gonna be coloring on paper towel here, a napkin here, so you don't wanna color too hard, or you run the risk of ripping it, so you don't wanna do that, okay? So next shape may be a square. I'm gonna draw a square. And I'm really just gonna fill in as many different shapes as I can think of. Square. What's another shape? What's the one that's kind of like a square? Rectangle. Rectangle is like a square, but longer, right? I'm gonna fill that in. Make sure you fill them in as best you can. That's gonna be important later, okay? And keep switching colors. How about a triangle? Okay, let's do green. How about a diamond? Diamond. Right, you draw a shape like that, and then you draw A shape like that, a diamond. All right, what else can we draw? How about a star? Do you know how to draw a star? I'll show you how to draw a star, right? You turn your paper upside down and you draw a tall, skinny V like that. Then you turn your paper around again. And now I take the bottom here and I go that way. And I take the bottom here and I go this way. And then I just connect these two. Boom, star. And do your best. Stars are really tricky, so do your best on these shapes, okay? Now I can even keep repeating shapes if I want, right? I could do another circle, right? Or maybe I want to do you guys know what that shape is that looks like a stop sign? We call that an octagon. It's got 8 sides. A little messy with a marker, but that's okay. I'll do 2 more here. 2 more. How about, let's see here. How about I do we do another square. And then how about we do one last one? How about we do another triangle? And again, you can use any shapes you want. We're just practicing our shapes today. All right, so I did a circle, square, rectangle, triangle, diamond, star, octagon, square, triangle, okay? Now we're gonna move on to the fun part with the water, okay? So I'm gonna show you a couple different ways you can do this depending on what you have at home. What we wanna do is we wanna get drops of water onto our shapes. So if you have an eyedropper, that's the easiest, right? You guys know what those are? You just kind of, suck up a little bit of water in this little tube and you squeeze it and it just lets little drops out. I don't have any of those. I'm gonna use a straw, all right? So what I like to do is, if you're using a straw at home, is you put your straw in the water. Once it's in the water, you put your finger on top of the straw, on top of it, okay? And that locks in the water. Now I can pull my straw out and now I'm gonna go over to my shapes and I'm gonna let the water out. And you see the colors will start to run. I'll go get more water. Ooh, and now they're mixing together. And I'm gonna do that all over. I'm gonna get all of my shapes nice and wet so that all of the colors kind of blend together and they run. We call that running. The water makes them kind of all go for a run. It's a lot of fun to watch them just mix into each other. Now, if you don't have a straw at home, you can use a paintbrush, try to get some water, and then maybe not paint it, but maybe kind of shake the water at the shapes. You could try painting it too. I wonder what that will look like. Doesn't make it run as much as dropping the water, so I suggest you try to drop the water. Okay. Now, if you don't have that, like I said, you can even try like a pencil, right? With the eraser end, you can dip that in the water and then you got to shake that and it will make the drops fall. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to cover the whole thing and get as much water as you can from your dropper or your straw. And you want to get all those colors to run into each other. And then when it's all done, you're going to let it dry. You're going to let it dry. You don't want to touch it while it's wet. You're going to let it dry, and then when it's all dry, then you can show it off. You can open it up. Some of the color is going to bleed through. It's going to look really amazing. All right? I already love the way this is turning out. All right? So just a fun way to explore and remind ourselves of some of those shapes. Give this a try. All right? And all I want you to do when you're done today is, you don't have to take a picture of this. I know this is kind of messy. So you just need to answer a question for me and you're all done. All right. And then we'll take these shapes and we'll start making something new with them next week. All right. Bye, my friends.